Hello and welcome to lucky episode number 13 of the Unstoppable Marketing and Mindset podcast with me, MG. And I am here to share with you something so expansive, so exciting. And it all comes from a place of stopping in order to be unstoppable. So overall in this episode, I'm going to have two messages for you. The first is the importance of stopping and creating space in order to expand. And the second is the magic that I was able to expand into by doing that for myself. Let me rewind and go back to the beginning. I last recorded an episode for this podcast last month. This whole month, I have either been sick or I have been away. And even when I was away, I was a little bit sick as well. Not fully sick, bro, more like actually just snotty, coughing, horrible, lethargic sick. So while there has been episodes coming out, they were all obviously pre-recorded. And now I'm here. I'm recording this the day before it goes live. And I'm very excited for my energy to go out there in its current space into the world to share this message with you. Because what's happened in this last month is basically a month of purging. Now, whether you believe in the woo or not, I do. And if you don't, that's totally fine. There are still going to be absolute valid messages in this for you. But at the end of the day, what I see in my experience in life is that everything happens for a positive purpose. So while I was sick and I was blaming everything and I was feeling like a victim, and I was really disappointed and I've got so much that I want to achieve and I'm not very good at just resting. This was an opportunity. First of all, the first time I was sick, because I've been sick twice, two different colds, flus, whatever they were, wasn't COVID. I had to rest. So the first time I had to rest 3 full days. 3 full days. Now, that might not sound like a lot to some people, but for me, to fully surrender to rest for just 1 day is so fucking hard. So to have to do it for 3 days was huge. And I did. I totally switched off for 3 days. I stayed in my bed. I read a book. I did nothing. And that in itself is huge. It gave me space. But then I traveled across to Queensland. I went to Her Empire Builders conference with Tina Tower, and I was away for a week. I was away from my family for a week. I had a room to myself for a week. I did still feel a little bit sick when I left. I wasn't feeling 100%. And then when I was there, I had all of this time and space to myself. I gave myself 2 days before going to the conference where I just hung out in Cairns and gave myself time to work on my business, give space to myself, not really do anything in particular, not have any specific plans or agenda or to-do list to tick off. And the magic that happens when you create this space is so expansive, so phenomenal, and it has really led to some monumental changes that are going to be coming up, not only for myself, but I believe for the coaching industry and potentially for the world. And I know that's a very big claim to make, but I also believe that if we don't believe that we can make positive change, then what the fuck is our purpose? And our change, what we do, impacts others. So why not believe that what you can do can actually change an industry, can change the world? And I know that the crazy people are the ones that say that, but they're usually the ones that do. And I am going to talk a little bit about what that change is coming up. But first of all, I want to speak into this idea of creating space and stopping, because we are in a world of doing, are we not? We live in a world of just hitting goals, making sure that we're getting ahead, taking action, not stopping. And I talk about being unstoppable, right? And I want you to know that that doesn't mean not stopping. Unstoppable does not mean that you never stop. In fact, it's the opposite. Being unstoppable means you know when to stop. Being unstoppable means you know when you need space for your next expansion. If you don't create space, what are you expanding into? There's no space to expand. So creating space is one of the most powerful things you can do as a thought leader, as a CEO of your business, as a founder, as someone who has the potential to change things in the world, even if it's one person at a time. So ask yourself this question: when was the last time that you intentionally and actively went and created space for nothing? Now, I know that's easier said than done, because I'm a mum. I have 2 kids. I have my kids missing me. You know, they didn't love that I went away. I have got so many hats that I wear, and I know that it's not that easy to create the space. But I want you to think about a time when you have created that space, even if it was just for a short period of time, and the positive ripple effect of that. Maybe you just went to a yoga class, and while you were at the yoga class, a beautiful idea dropped in. Maybe you went away for a night with girlfriends, and while you were away, you filled your cup so much that you came back feeling refreshed and renewed, ready for an amazing week at work, and you were able to really expand into that next level of yourself. Just allow yourself to remember a time when you've done that. And I know if you're a mum, I know it's not easy to go away for a week, okay? And I understand that not everyone is going to be able to do that. But what if you could find a way to create enough space to just let ideas flow and land and not fill it with things to do? It is so easy for us to fill it with things to do. I know, I'm a manifesting generator. Manifesting generators are constantly like on the go, wanting to do the next thing, getting distracted, finding the shiny objects. And there is superpowers in that for sure. But the art of slowing down and allowing space for expansion, it's hard, but it's absolutely worth it. So what I'd noticed before going into this month of June is this kind of underlying current of not feeling 100% aligned with the work that I'm doing. And there's parts of the work that I do that I absolutely love, but there's other parts, and a lot of it comes down to what I see in the coaching industry that didn't fully feel aligned. I have felt like I need to show up in a certain way in the coaching industry in order to be taken seriously, in order for people to look at me and go, yeah, she's successful. And I think that was quite unconscious. I didn't realize it. It was just, like I said, that undercurrent in the background that I wasn't aware of, but it didn't quite feel right. And so I already was planning on launching a lower cost membership to people that wanted to join the Unstoppables, but didn't afford or couldn't afford yet that higher level mastermind. And so it was going to be an option for people to have access to the incredible resources and the courses, and not so much the coaching, but still have some access to me. So a monthly coaching call with the group, that kind of thing. So that's something that I was planning on introducing last Friday. However, while I was away and I was allowing space to think about this, I realized that that still wasn't quite right. It wasn't 100% what I wanted to be doing. And it gave me the opportunity to think about what I value the most and ask myself, what would be the actions that are most true to my values? So I started coming up with this idea around it being a community membership, an opportunity for people to connect, collaborate, and share their knowledge and skills. And how could I do this in a way that is high quality? Because, if you have a community just blurting out their skills at each other, then, you don't necessarily have quality. It's just a free for all. And how do I make it as streamlined as possible so that it's not overwhelming for members? And while I was lying there beside the lagoon in Cairns, I was reminded that artificial intelligence exists. And if artificial intelligence like ChatGPT and Video.ai and Jasper.ai can help me with so many things and streamline so many actions in my business, I wonder if there's some kind of artificial intelligence model out there that could help me to create a platform that makes it really easy for people to access exactly what it is they need to go to the next level in their business, based on the plethora of experts, of people in the community that have the knowledge that they need. What if that was possible? And I don't know how yet, okay? Since kind of coming up with this very pie in the sky, almost abstract idea, I've had conversations with so many people, and it has absolutely lit me up. It blows me away when you start to put something out into the universe and you tell people, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm thinking. Who do you know? Holy shit, I have just in the last few weeks connected with some fucking amazing people that are going to be helping me bring this vision to life. And it wouldn't have happened without that space. After coming up with this pie in the sky vision, I landed at the conference in Port Douglas, Queensland. Beautiful tropical location, great space to be expansive. And the very first guest speaker was Mia Fileman, and I will tag her in this. She's got a business called Campaign Del Mar, and she spoke into my values. Like, I felt like she was speaking to my soul when she was sharing her knowledge with the room. And one of the things that she loves to talk about is what is good marketing and what's bad marketing. And ultimately, it comes down to values. And there is a lot of marketing out there, and I've called it in the past bro marketing. There's a lot of bro marketing out there, but there's actually a lot of marketing other than bro marketing that just doesn't seem to fit the values and the morals of a collective that really want to support each other rather than manipulate each other in a negative way. Okay. And I've talked about manipulation before, and we're always manipulating. But if we manipulate from a positive intention rather than making money intention, rather than looking successful intention, it's very different. And one of the things that Mia said was success porn is dead. Success porn is dead. Now, I had someone DM me and say, I'm too scared to Google success porn. Can you tell me what it means? I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. Do not Google success porn. Let me explain what it is. Success porn is what you see mostly on social media, where people might be driving a flashy car or, flying first class, drinking champagne and martinis, wearing designer sunglasses to show their quote unquote success and make you feel like, oh, well, they're really successful because they have those things. So therefore, I should work with them. And it's actually a very kind of 90s, early 2000s method in marketing, but it's making a comeback. I don't know if you remember, like a year ago, we were talking about in the coaching industry, making six figures. Like that was the goal, make six figures. Well, now all of a sudden it's 7 and 8 figures. And so if you're not even making six figures, you start to feel like you're a fucking failure because, well, I'm supposed to be going for 7 figures. I'm supposed to be getting 6-figure months, not 6-figure years. And so the narrative is starting to create like this separation where there's this elite, and half the time they're not actually elite. They just hired a fancy car and, gone into debt on their credit card to get these designer sunglasses. There's this elite and this looking down on the people that haven't got to that point. And this is, again, part of the undercurrent that hasn't felt very good to me in the last 6 months in particular. And when Mia shared success porn is dead, I literally was whooping, whoop, whoop, from the crowd. Like, oh my gosh, I love you, Mia. Thank you for bringing the words to life of what it is that I've been trying to express, of what it is that has this undercurrent that is not actually necessarily helping what we need in society. And it's not depicting an honest and authentic version of success that helps the world. Okay. And a lot of people are using those marketing methods because they think that's what they need to do in order to get ahead. And the reality is they might get ahead because there will be some people that will go, oh, yes, that's what I want. That's what I'm attracted to. And they go for it. But without the values and the morals driving the marketing actions that lead to positive outcomes in the industry and the world, what are we supporting? What are we supporting? And I don't want to support that kind of marketing anymore. I don't want to be a part of an industry that is like that anymore. So then I went into like this moment where I was going, this is amazing, but what the fuck do I do? What do I do about this? Like, who am I to make these changes? Who am I to be that person that fights back against the way we're doing things and calls it out and says, actually, I'm not okay with that. Like, cool, if you want to be a part of that, but have you really considered what you're representing and what you're creating? And I know there's going to be people that don't agree with me. But I believe there's a better way. I truly believe there is a better way. And so what I want to create, and I'm going to start pulling back the curtain on this now, because the first phase of what I want to create is coming in just a few days. I want to create accessible, affordable, quality, and up-to-date small business education to women all around the world at a no-brainer price point. I want this to be where the community is the hero. You get to contribute to the community. The community is what's building this. It's not me. I'm building this. Yes, I'm a part of the community that is building this, but this is not about MG. This is about so much more than me. The community contributes, and the connection that the community contributes, that becomes the currency. I want to encourage people to contribute and also benefit from contributing by being paid, because I want to make this an affiliate option for people to become affiliates and be paid commission for sharing and contributing, as well as an opportunity to create a currency of connection where people can collaborate and, swap services, because they've got a really well systemized and structured community that shows people who they need in their life, in their business, in whatever capacity, to help them with what they're working on in their business, so that you can swap without even having to pay money, so that you can say, hey, I've got an amazing community over here that I'd love for you to come and connect with. So the community is really the heart of this movement. What I want to do is move away from the privileged access that I know I have. I have privileged access to the communities that I'm a part of because I pay thousands of dollars a month in order to be there. People don't have thousands of dollars a month unless they're privileged. So I want to move away from that and towards equal opportunity for everyone. Just want to take a moment there to highlight something. The median wage in Australia is $48,000. $48,000. Look at the cost of living, the cost of buying a house. How the fuck does anyone earning $48,000 or less manage to live a life, let alone starting a business or going, I have this great idea and this could change the world? So what's happening right now, because that's 50% of the country that's earning less than $48,000 or $48,000 and less a year. So what's happening is the privilege, the people earning more than that, they are the ones that have the time, energy, and resources to put behind the ideas that they have for business. And then those ideas are the ones that are coming into fruition. Those ideas are the ones that are changing things in the world. So the rich are making the changes. And I mean, duh, that's the way it's always been. But what if we can do something about this? What if we can make education affordable, connection more affordable? Because at the moment, we have this pay to play mentality. I pay to play in groups, communities that allow me to up level. But what if we could flip that on its head and play to pay, where you contribute by playing in the community, by being a part of it, and then you get paid? Why can't we flip that around? Why can't we bring our knowledge, our expertise, our value, and use that in the community to get paid, to get connected? I believe we can flip that around. And I also want to move away from this success porn and find ways that are equally as valuable to bring humble value to women all around the world. That's the vision. The vision of this movement is to have 20% of revenue, and yes, revenue, not profit, 20% of revenue, which is more than profit, to go to people that are affiliates of this. So 20% of that revenue, 10% of the revenue, eventually, not straight away, okay, I've got a phased out plan, but 10% of the revenue by 2025 is going to go to a charity that will allow girls in third world countries to get a better education, because I want them to be able to become the leaders of their communities so that they can do incredible things. I thought that I needed to put all of my prices up to earn lots of money in order to do these things. That's what I thought I needed to do. And then I realized I don't need to do that. I can flip that on its head and say, no, all I need is the heart of a community to reach as many people as possible at a really low cost, so that we can generate the revenue to give to other people and to start this charity in order to literally change the world. This is huge. And one of the things that is a very big component of this is going to be artificial intelligence. Now, I can't tell you how yet. I have an idea, I have some pieces of the puzzle, but in a couple of years' time, artificial intelligence is going to be even more monumental than it is right now. And I believe we need to work with it in a way that is ethical, that is going to give back positively to the community. So I want to use artificial intelligence, machine learning, to make this hub something that allows people to find whatever pathway they need in their business and find the resources that are going to help them, so that they don't need to spend so much money on a coach. Now, I'm not saying that coaching is going to be dead, because there is always going to be the privileged people that can afford to have that one-to-one eyeballs on their business, helping them with their business. And I am still going to be offering coaching, okay? This is not about shooting coaches who work with high ticket clients in the foot. That is not what I'm doing. Okay. What I'm doing is creating something that fits the gap for the people that are literally going bankrupt because of how much they're having to put into business coaching and then not necessarily getting a result, because you cannot guarantee a result as a coach. You can't. There's so many factors. But what I want to do is guarantee that you can get so much value for a small price point because of the way it's set up with the heart of the community, with artificial intelligence to make it adaptable automatically to your learning needs, to your coaching needs, and a way forward for people who have the ideas, but not the big bank balance. Because it's not just about money mindset, right? It's about fucking privilege. There are some people who are just really fucking privileged and some people who are not. All of our circumstances are different. We do not have the same 24 hours in a day. There is so much blame placed on people who aren't able to get ahead in their business, when really circumstances, environment matters a lot. And those are the people that I really want to make sure don't get left behind, because I see the gap between rich and poor has actually been getting wider since 2021. For the first time in over 100 years, it's been getting wider since 2021. That's not good, guys. That is not good. And who is MG to think she can do something about that? Well, I'm here to say, I don't think I can do it alone, but I think collectively we can. So on Thursday, I will be launching phase 1 of the movement. And I'm calling it the movement because I don't know what the fuck else to call it yet. It needs to have a name that's not the movement, but I don't need to know what that is yet. The phase 1 is where I'm going to bring in 33 women into the movement to, first of all, get access to everything for a fucking no-brainer price of $97 a month, as well as group coaching with me, as well as the community aspect that's going to allow them to A, become affiliates, B, be a part of this process as founding members and contribute to the start of this movement. So really who I'm looking for are people that are change makers, who really value what I've been talking about in this episode, who are values, heart-based women in business. So stay tuned for that. It's coming out on Thursday. So Thursday, the 29th of June, 2023. If it's after that date when you're listening to this, I don't know if it's available for you to join. It's going to depend on when you listen and how many people have already joined, because I'm capping it at 33 so that I can make sure that the growth is slow and steady. This is not just a plan for this year. Like this plan, I've already planned all the way through to 2026. My numbers, what I want this to look like, how I'm reverse engineering it. I've never gone this big before. And I was scared as fuck, but I'm feeling a lot less scared now. I've made some beautiful connections and I feel like what I want to do is very possible, and I'm very excited to share it. So make sure if you are listening to this close to the date of that launch that you connect with me on socials. I'm not going to just share the sales page on my social media because I don't want people to just come in, stalk the idea and just see what I'm up to at this phase. Yes, when I get to the next phase in January, people can stalk away. But at this point, I only want to share the link with people who are serious about being a part of this movement. So you can either contact me via email or Instagram if that's something that you're wanting to be a part of, but it will go live on Thursday, the 29th. So I'm very excited to do that and get into this first phase, make this happen, build the contacts that I need in order to build this incredible resource, this website, the connections and the collaborations that are going to help to build it and to connect people all over the world with the resources that they need in order to build their business at a fucking super affordable and accessible price. That's it from me this week. Oh my gosh, I feel like I have just literally spilled the tea on steroids, but it's time. It is time for this change. And I'm so fucking pumped to bring it into fruition. Peace out. I'm MG.